What's up, gang? Hope you're doing well. This video is one that I saw pop up on my timeline, and I have a lot of conversations with you on the Patreon and Discord and just wherever else in the DMs about this. A lot of you asked this. I did a video on sports betting is ruining basketball, ruining the NBA. So this one is the NBA scripted? The evidence will shock you. It's a small channel. It's by ISO mode. They've only got 700 subscribers. The video's got 2,000 views though. So I don't even know if it's going to be a good video, but it is an interesting one. It asks questions and it might lay some framework or groundwork for us to have our conversations about, is the NBA rigged?
What if I told y'all the NBA isn't just a game, but it's a script?
Because the FBI did a thorough investigation, and even the NBA concluded that I did not fix games in the NBA.
Tim Donaghy.
Liar! And I also think the NBA is sort of low-key rigged. You know? Really?
I think it is rigged.
Definitely manipulated.
We have a lot of Los Angeles Clippers.
Yeah, that right there, definitely manipulated. Yeah, it 100% is. We've spoken about this on the channel before. I spoke about it over on the main channel on the sports betting video I did. 100% is manipulated. People get caught all the time, and there's probably hundreds of cases or instances of these things happening that never come to light, that we don't hear about.
Fans saying that the NBA was rigged. That's the reason why LeBron James and them made that comeback against the Clippers about a week ago and won that.
But I don't think it's rigged to the point. I don't think it's scripted, if that makes sense. I do think it's it's definitely manipulated. I definitely think there's players and individual little ups and downs that probably impact games, but not on I don't think it's on a scale of like a large overseeing. I don't think the NBA corporation scripts like, we want this team to win and we want this team to lose and whatever. I do think they make decisions and they put in rules and they put in like certain things to hope for certain outcomes. So I definitely think they have their finger on like pushing the narrative the way they want it to go, but I don't think it's 100%
game.
Something just ain't right. And that's what I'm going to say if the Lakers lose tonight's game. All you're doing is getting all the conspiracy theorists to say that the NBA is rigged.
Let's be real. Y'all ever watch a primetime gaming thing?
Prime time.
As Miller keeps it and smashes it down.
The other two, then they'll do it one more time. Oh, between the legs. Yeah.
This is a young contest.
Check him out.
Man, something about this just doesn't add up. Maybe it's those wild comebacks that look like they just came straight out of a movie.
And because he still got hit the shot, right?
Yes! I don't believe what I have seen! Battle back from 35 and win!
Or some foul calls that always seem to magically go one team's way.
This is another one, foul calls. I think it happens too quick. I think a lot of people that complain about the foul calls haven't refereed themselves. The game is happening so quick and there's so many things happening at once that I don't think the referees are good enough to consistently referee in a way to get specific outcomes. But I do think the referees are human, and whenever the momentum is swinging a specific way, I think they'll continue to go with that momentum, if that makes sense. So I think the outcomes become, it looks like it's more rigged than what it actually is. I actually think a lot of it comes down to incompetence.
Or maybe it's a star player who can pretty much tackle somebody and not get whistled, while everyone else gets called for hand checks.
And you can't take a clip of Anthony Edwards dunking on someone to an old school play of Charles Barkley choking out Larry Bird.
If in the era of hand checking, you hand check, I do get by you and I come in here, what's happening? Oh.
Well, what if I told you actual NBA players and refs have come out saying this isn't just a coincidence, that the NBA might be rigged?
And his fellow refs can't find it, and as best as we can tell, law enforcement can't find it. So I accept the prevailing view.
In this video, we're going to break down real stories from guys who've been on the court or behind the scenes. Players, refs, and insiders who claim the league is tilted. From big market teams supposedly getting all the calls, to entire playoff series feeling like they've been decided before the ball even went up, recovering.
And things like that. Again, it's tough because so much of this, there are very good questions to ask about how much of it is rigged and manipulated, how much of it is incompetence, how much of it is there's just too much money to make these specific decisions. There's really good questions to be had, but everyone wants to have the surface level, just conspiracy brain conversations about it, and it gets us nowhere, and it makes it way easier for the NBA to keep doing what they're doing. At the end of the day, it's an entertainment league because they don't want to take any responsibility for any claims of being staged or anything like that. But most of the time, it more comes down to their just willingness to like sit on their hands and not take care of things when there are issues.
It all. And once you hear these stories, you'll never watch a game the same way again. Trust me on that.
Half-court shot.
For decades, going back to like the Magic Bird era, dudes have been whispering that the NBA is more about money and storylines than straight up hoops. But instead of jumping on random fan theories, today we got actual receipts from people in the middle of the action. It's one thing for a fan on Twitter to say, "We got robbed by the refs," but it's a whole different level when a ref himself or an NBA All-Star is out here saying, "Man."
It's not different when the NBA player says it. It is different if a ref comes out and says it. "Man, we pretty much had no shot unless we beat the other team."
We pretty much had no shot unless we beat the other team by 15.
You can beat them by 1.
And we'll break down exactly what he meant.
They would show you plays and say, this was a foul that was missed, and these 3 referees missed this play. Make sure you don't let this happen tonight. Make sure you call this when this happens.
So does the NBA really tell refs to give superstar calls to certain players?
And this is the problem too. It's not that the NBA says, like, again, if you've refereed, you'll understand this. It's not that the NBA is saying, hey, give Steph Curry these calls, give James Harden these calls, give Shai Gilgeous-Alexander these calls, but it's just something that kind of happens with human interaction and you seeing the momentum of if Shai drives to the basket and barely gets bumped and it gets called a foul, well, he's kind of set the tone that the next time he does that, it's going to be called a foul. Next time he does it, it's going to be called a foul. So if Shai does that, and he led the league in layup attempts, I'm pretty sure, drives to the basket, well, of course he's going to get more foul calls. So people will look at that number and be like, see, it's rigged because of that. And it's like, no, but they should be more strict on like strong arming it and going, okay, no, Shai is playing for that bump every single time. Don't give him that, and he'll stop doing it. The difference is Shai will find a different way and will still probably lead the league in drives to the basket. He was still probably going to win MVP. The outcome was still going to be the same. It's just Shai's found a way that's working, so he just uses it. So people will look at confirmation bias and be like, see, that means it's rigged. And it's like, well, even if they were calling that a foul, like then you would have been like, oh, see, it's rigged because he's they're not calling that foul, but now they're calling this one or whatever. It's just, there's no winning sometimes.
Was that 2012 Game 7 legit? Or was it rigged so LeBron and the Heat could move on?
Every season is like a movie, and I'm like living in it. Like I'm the star in the movie. Like it feels dope as shit.
He's only 4 out of 10, right, in the finals? 4 wins in the finals, 6 losses. Is that right? So, I mean, it's not like it's rigged to where he's winning every time. He's lost most of them.
I be saying like Batman. I feel like Batman, Black Panther, all them, not all of them, every single, like.
It's also a topic of conversation to talk about the serious amount of money that comes in when a playoff series goes 6 or 7 games instead of 4 or 5. From Tim Donaghy's gambling scandal to what players are saying about how they go into games so the game isn't decided by the refs. We're about to get into it all.
So prior to the scandal breaking, he was actually seen as a pretty good ref. Tim Donaghy was not only just betting on the games, but he was also refereeing games in which he had a stake in the outcome.
Starting off with the man who had all the power, Tim Donaghy. He's the ex-NBA ref who got caught betting on games he officiated. That alone is crazy enough.
This was huge back in the day. And the craziest thing is, like, no one else really got in trouble. And it's what didn't end up being a big deal. I mean, it ended up being a big deal, obviously, but this should have, like, blown up so many things. But it was just like, yeah, we got the guy. Move on.
But the real bombshell is him saying that the league straight up encourages refs to favor certain players and certain teams to keep things profitable.
And this can be interpreted a ton of different ways, and this is what I was saying. If we look into it and it goes, the league straight up encourages refs to favor certain players, the rules do favor players. The rules literally are freedom of movement, no hand checking, like not allowed to do this, not allowed to do that. Well, certain players that play to those rules, like, yeah, it's definitely going to favor them. So you can look at it that way, or you can read that as, no, the league sent me a note, or they sent us a memo before every game that every time LeBron drives, you have to call a foul. Every time that Steph Curry gets his jersey pulled off ball, you got to call a foul. Like, that's probably not what they're saying, but that's how most people hear it. And honestly, I don't think either is good. I'm just saying.
It was not actually in these games fixing the games and throwing calls to win a bet.
You expect us to believe that you did nothing.
Imagine your supervisor is telling you, don't call so many fouls on Jordan. He's the ticket seller.
Is this, guys, do you think this is AI? Is this an AI photo? Artificial intelligence, not Allen Iverson. That's definitely not Allen Iverson. You guys think this is artificial intelligence? Don't call 2 fouls on Joby's the Jordan. Don't call 2 money on Joby's ticket seller. Jordan, 23, 23, 25, over 23. What is this?
That's basically what Donaghy claimed was happening behind closed doors. Tim Donaghy shared an instance where he called a foul on Michael Jordan's famous spin move in a Bulls game. Phil Jackson apparently lost his mind. And Donaghy says that other refs pulled him aside and were like, bro, you do not make that call on Michael Jordan.
Phil Jackson comes flying off the bench, and he started giving me shit.
But that's a coach.
And I said, wait a second, Phil. You know as well as I do, that's the spin move that they're telling us to call. And he said, they may want that play called, but they certainly don't want it called on him.
Yeah, but this, come on, grow up, Tim. This is the stuff where it's like, that's a coach. That's not the league. That's not the league telling you. That's a coach telling you. And every single game that I've played in, overseas, in college, my coach would yell some insane stuff. The other coach would be yelling insane stuff. But as a ref, like, your job is to control the game. Just because people are yelling things, you don't just do it.
He pointed at Jordan, who walked by and just stared at me.
So what? Tough luck.
According to Tim Donaghy, that type of special treatment applied to stars like Kobe, LeBron, or whoever was the face of the league at the time. Now, Tim Donaghy ended up with a prison sentence for the gambling side of this. Some people says that kills his credibility. Understood. Others point out that because he was literally in the middle of it, he knew the inside of how the league operated. He kept insisting entire playoff series were swayed for bigger markets and higher ratings. And honestly, once you hear and see that, when looking at our league today, it's hard to unsee.
He's not really adding anything to this.
Mm-hmm. And I understand it. So it's like, so we get in this game, you know how much money the NBA is going to lose.
Which means, if you're not blowing the other team out, the refs can tip.
That's fine for Evan Turner to say that, but again, this is so frustrating for me because there's so many good conversations to be had, but it's not the referees that are keeping Portland from beating Milwaukee. Milwaukee is also a small market team, right? Like, you can't be like, nope, the refs didn't want us to win. It's like, they don't want either of you to win. The NBA doesn't want Milwaukee or Portland to make it to the finals. This has nothing to do with the referees. It's the same as this year. Nobody wanted to see OKC and Indiana, right? 2 small market teams. The league didn't want to see that. Right, but Los Angeles lost out super early. Golden State lost out pretty early. LA Clippers lost out early. Like, just is what it is, man.
Just enough calls the other way to keep things close, or even flip the outcome.
Went into his shot, and referees didn't deem it enough.
Now Fred VanVleet was just thrown out of the game.
Freddie's got to be careful.
Back in the 2012 playoffs.
And one thing I always say to my players too when we're playing, I guarantee you I could go back and watch any of these games and I could find, let's say the Portland Trailblazers, like what Evan Turner was talking about there. Let's just say the Portland Trailblazers lost by 6. I could go find you 6 points worth of plays where the players and the coaches made mistakes that could have won them the game. I can go find you 6 points. It happens every game, right? You can always find mistakes that I made, he made, they made, whatever. But everyone wants to point out the 2 points that the referee changed. And it's like, they also do make mistakes. Don't get me wrong, the referees aren't perfect. Like I said, they're humans. They make a lot of mistakes too, but it's more about minimizing your mistakes. You can't just blame the referees. Can't blame the league for scripting it. So this is where I think the conspiracy brain kind of brain rots people and takes it out of context, and now we can't have good conversations about it anymore.
Word on the street was that the league wanted the Miami Heat with LeBron and D-Wade in the finals.
The league wanted LeBron and D-Wade in the finals and with the Heat. Like, they didn't need much help with the referees. I promise you, they didn't need a lot of help. They were winning majority of their games. They were a pretty good team.
Because they brought that superstar appeal in the TV ratings. An NBA player on an opposing team who most of us probably already know was saying, man, we got to beat this team by double digits or else we ain't winning. And sure enough, Miami advanced.
But see what I mean? Like, well, he said they got to win by 15 or it's not enough. And sure enough, Miami won. See? Rigged.
Now, of course, the Heat were a top-tier squad in their own right.
They're the best team in the league.
But to hear a player say that the league was basically setting the table for them to win is wild.
And it feels that way when you're playing against a stacked, like, again, I've played against players that you could tell they were supposed to win the championship that year, and when you played against them, like, they got favorable calls, like you had to play perfect, and you're playing against the crowd as well, like you're playing against everyone. It feels unfair, but it's like that's normal. That happens in every league and every sport all over the world. So this is not the NBA is rigged that everyone thinks it is.
Talk about the money. Every additional playoff game means a whole lot of extra bread for the league. Ticket sales, TV ads, merchandise, you name it. A 7-game series is way different as far as revenue compared to a quick 4 or 5 game knockout.
This is more so them just having 7 games in a series, not that the NBA is going to make them all go 7 games.
And if the series features household names like LeBron, the NBA is laughing all the way to the bank. Jumping to 2016, the Warriors just had their best regular season ever at 73-9 and went up 3-1 on the Cavs in the finals.
And then Draymond Green kicked LeBron in the gonads, right? Isn't that what happened? He got suspended?
Then Draymond Green gets suspended for Game 5 after a run-in with LeBron. Next thing you know, Cleveland flips the script.
Yeah, because they didn't have Draymond Green. It's this is far more simple than this is Draymond Green's fault.
Storms back and wins the series in 7. But was Draymond's suspension legit? Or did the league see a golden opportunity to stretch the finals and boost TV ratings? Draymond had piled up enough technicals and flagrant points that one more put him on the bench for that game. When he and LeBron got tangled, the NBA upgraded Dre's action to a flagrant after reviewing the tape. So he had to sit out Game 5. We know how the story went. The Warriors lost all that momentum, and then the Cavs gained that momentum. And suddenly, Cleveland pulls off a championship comeback we'll never forget. Ratings went through the roof for that Game 7, and it became an instant classic. LeBron's crowning achievement and Kyrie's clutch shot. From a storyline angle, it was perfect for the NBA.
Yeah. So if this is the last thing they're talking about,
Draymond gets suspended at the exact moment Cleveland needs a spark. There's so many more instances of this. You got the 2002 Western Conference Finals, Lakers versus Kings. Game 6 is still called the worst officiated playoff game ever.
But this is making my point for me. If you're only able to cherry pick this game was one of the worst officiated ever. This game was really bad. See, the whole NBA is rigged. I think this video is really good, really well done, and really well put together, and it's asking the right questions. But I do think there's far more evidence and there's far better conversations to have around the scripting of the NBA. I think most of the scripting, I think most of the storylines are put together before the season starts. And so that's set up with the scheduling. So I do think there's favorable and non-favorable scheduling. I think there's favorable rules and adherence to the rules. And that what I mean by that is like, oh, we're going to call these fouls. We're going to not call this. We're going to reward this. We're not going to reward this. They know how superstars are going to play. And so they'll reward, oh, we want to see more dunks. Adam Silver's come out and even said that. They want to see more dunks. They want to see more threes. So they constantly bend the rules and change the rules to favor that outcome. What they need to do is just like, no, how do we make the sport product the best sport product we can? How do we make the best competition we can? Because that's what fans want to see. They're trying to manufacture it too much, though, to make sure there's going to be a lot of dunks and highlights. But it's like, these are the best. This is the best of the best. These are the best players in the world, in the best league in the world. There's going to be enough highlights. Like, just chill on that. So I think a lot of the scripting, a lot of problems, and a lot of the rigging comes from the gambling, obviously, the over simplification of the gambling, making it so accessible and so easy. They don't punish it. They don't punish it enough. And then the fact that, like I said, they try to manufacture highlights. They try to manufacture a specific style of game. So some players thrive. James Harden, Shea, Joel Embiid during the regular season, but then the playoffs start and you got to change that up. Luckily, Shea was able to change the way he plays. James Harden keeps playing the same way. Joel Embiid keeps playing the same way, and they wonder why it doesn't work in the playoffs. It's like, well, because they know they need real basketball in those moments. So is it rigged? Is the NBA rigged? Is it not? You guys let me know what you think. What are some of the best examples, do you think, of the NBA being rigged? And it can't be like there was a crazy comeback or whatever, because crazy comebacks happen. It can't be that some team has won so many championships, because that happens. Someone has to win them. Like, crazy stuff happens. Just because it's crazy doesn't mean it's rigged. I think good examples of rigging, though, are where there's some people acting outside of how they would normally act. So when who was the players? There's a couple players. Michael Porter Jr.'s brother and Michael Beasley. There's some very interesting conversations and storylines around that. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But the way they changed the way they were playing based on bets and stuff, that's very interesting. I think there's some cool conversations to be had. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know down below. Like I said, go like and subscribe ISO Mode's video. This was a very good video. I'm surprised he's only got 700 subscribers. I thought it was great. Well done, and I'll see you guys in the next video.